The media, after the meeting, said the decision was taken after deliberations on the current fuel scarcity and supply difficulties in the country, coupled with the exorbitant prices being paid by Nigerians for the product, which range on the average from 150 naira to 250 naira per litre.
One, in order to increase and stabilize the supply of the product, any Nigerian entity is now free to import the product subject to existing quality specifications and other guidelines which will be issued by regulatory agencies. Two, all oil marketers will be allowed to import PMS on the basis of forex procured from secondary sources. But as we have constantly said, the inherited difficulties of the past and the challenges of the current times imply that we must take difficult decisions on this sort of critical national issues. We believe that in the long term, improved supply and competition will drive down these prices to a point where they are manageable. The DPR and PPPRA have been mandated to ensure strict regulatory compliance, including dealing decisively with anyone involved in hoarding petroleum products.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo presided over the meeting, which had in attendance various stakeholders, including the leadership of the Senate, House of Representatives, Governors Forum, and labor unions. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a development economist, Mr. Odilim Enwegbara, has described the increase in the compulsory and inevitable policy of government that is in the best interest of the country's economy. She said the government will rechannel the funds to be saved by the subsidy removal into the provision of necessary infrastructure. She therefore urged Nigerians to support the government as all existing refineries in the country will soon be revived and the establishment of the modular refineries will soon commence production. This, she said, will ensure sufficient availability of the products and eventual exportation of same for greater economic gains. Nigeria is in the process of developing alternative power supply through solar and biomass. The Minister of Power Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, stated this when he received a delegation of investors from the Czech Republic. This is at the second Regional Security Summit holding in Abuja. Defense correspondent Mohammed Abdulkadir reports.
Since no single nation can defeat terrorism, synergy between countries has become imperative. This explains why member states in the Lake Chad Basin Commission, including Nigeria, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Benin, as well as foreign partners, are back to the drawing board after 2 years of the first summit in France.
There is need for more sustained efforts and concerted actions to ensure that we do not only win the war, but the peace as well.
Part of the objectives of the summit include reactivation of the multinational joint task force
on the people of the state. Governor Samuel Otom made this commitment during the assessment visit to some of the road projects in Guma local government area. Achigili Magaji was on the governor's entourage for NTA News.
The roads inspected include the 47-kilometer Daudu-Bajimba Road, as well as the 40.397-kilometer Makudi-Origbo-Bajimba roads. The governor expressed delight over the commitment of the contractors handling the projects.
On this road, I've been assured that though we gave them 24 months, but they assured me that within 18 months they'll be able to complete the work. And that is what I'm looking forward to. But the quality of the work will not be compromised as far as I'm concerned.
Governor Tom
reports.
One of the priorities of the present administration is to create job opportunities for the teeming unemployed youths. It is to assist government in realizing this objective that the wife of the Chief of Air Staff and National President of Nigerian Air Force Officers' Wives Association, NAFOA, Hajia Nafsat Abubakar, flagged off the skills acquisition and vocational training program for unemployed youths, women, and other job seekers within and outside the Tactical Air Force Command community in Makudi. She said the 10-week training, which covers tailoring, bead making,
it also provides a major landmark in the landscape of the country. Communities along the River Benue banks eke a living directly or indirectly from this natural resource. The River Benue jetty, where passengers board boats to various destinations, were deserted when NTA crew visited the river banks. This chairman of Benue and Nasarawa Engine Boat Drivers Association attribute to the lingering attacks by gunmen on some Benue communities, particularly at border towns.
Here to Gwaji, that is Naka, the riverside. That is where we are stopping, so we cannot reach up to Nasarawa Jetta Park because of the crashes there.
From Benue, and as you can see, we are on the entourage of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the Master's Rescue Mission to Wali, a neighboring community in the Local Government area of Benue State.
The inspection tour, however, is for the enforcement of the use of life jackets by some officials of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency.
With the help of the life jacket, help to rescue life here. When we go, we meet them with their life jacket, we bring them up. Those people unconscious who hospitalizing in the hospital here, those one normally we bring them back. Then we talk of the bringing out the boat on the engine itself.
At the sand excavation point of the river bank, sand excavators complained of low patronage, adding that the fuel scarcity also affected their activities.
The business with no even further loss, no money, no anything.
When will they do this work, ba? Sometimes I can get 7,000 from my hand, 5,000, 4,000 go house. But now sometimes another carry even 200 go house.
Fishing activities on the river is also on a low key, with only a few fishermen seen carrying out their activities. Business operators on and along the River Benue have also appealed to the federal government to dredge the River Benue and boost commercial activities. In Makudi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
That does it from Makudi. It's back to Lydia in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Many thanks, Susan. Guests on NTA's program, Good Morning Nigeria, have condemned the recent remark by the British Prime Minister David Cameron, describing Nigeria as a fantastically corrupt nation. They described it as inappropriate considering the cordial relationship between both countries. Joy Uzo monitored the program and brings us an excerpt.
While condemning the remark by the British Prime Minister David Cameron against Nigeria, the guests observed that though the statement is to an extent true, it was sarcastic and uncomplimentary. They called on Nigerians home and abroad to join hands with the present administration to redeem the country's image by stamping out corruption and being patriotic.
But I want to agree with him substantially. If you read the Nigerian papers, you see the amount of money that is being stolen or being embezzled. Even you as a Nigerian will not fail to say that the country is not corrupt.
I want us to go back to the reorientation of our people, and President Buhari should press between the British politicians and himself. What we are
Joy Uzo, NTA News.
And now to the National Assembly. Mohammed Sani Omolori has taken charge as the acting clerk of the National Assembly with effect from Thursday, 12th of May 2016. This followed the commencement of terminal leave of the clerk, National Assembly, Abubakar Salisu Mekasua. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo has the update.
We shall proceed with the election.
Clerk to the National Assembly, Abubakar Salisu Mekasua, has commenced his terminal leave preparatory to retirement from service from 4th of May 2016 to 14th August 2016. A statement by the outgoing clerk says the acting clerk to the National Assembly, Mohammed Sani Omolori, will perform his duties with effect from Thursday, 12th of May 2016. It will be recalled that the National Assembly Service Commission had, in a letter dated 20th April 2016, appointed Sani Omolori as the acting clerk to the National Assembly. This was followed by various reactions from the letter written by the Senate President, Bukola Saraki, rejecting the appointment, and the Commission's chairman's reply explaining the circumstances of the emergence of Sani Omolori against the incumbent deputy clerk to the National Assembly, Ben Efeturi. Available information reveals that various high-level meetings were held and the misunderstanding was resolved. Sani Omolori was born on the 7th of June 1961 in Okene, Kogi State, where he attended Native Authority Central Primary School, Okene, from 1966 to 1971, and had his secondary education at Government Secondary School, Okene, from 1972 to 1976. He is a graduate of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where he obtained Bachelor of Law certificate in 1983. Muhammad Sani Omolori joined the services of the National Assembly in 1992 as legal counsel. He was appointed Director, Legal Services Department of the National Assembly in January 2007 and became Clerk, House of Representatives in February 2010. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, House Committee on Public Petitions has criticized the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for non-compliance to an Abuja Federal High Court judgment in 2005, mandating the Commission to return to status quo with respect to 2 state constituencies under Ushongo Local Government Council of Benue State. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim has details.
The House Committee on Public Petitions criticism was at an investigative hearing on public petitions. Representative of Ushongo Local Government Council area of Benue State, Tehemba Samuel Shaw, explained that between 1973 and 1999, the council area had 2 state constituencies of Mata and Mbagwa before they were merged by INEC. Not satisfied with the situation, he says, the council area approached an Abuja Federal High Court and got a favorable judgment on the matter.
They have no option than to give us a timetable as to how they are going to conduct the election in the Ushongo Local Government, in the 2 constituencies in the Ushongo Local Government. After it was a constant judgment they have not appealed against.
INEC Acting Director, Legal Services, Oluwatoyin Babalola, acknowledged the fact,
urging them to imbibe and propagate the nation's core values as a first step towards contributing meaningfully to nation building.
The present administration is ready to turn things around. It is for your own benefit, you that are coming into the government, so that when you are in the National Assembly or House of Assembly or even at the presidency or wherever, please ensure that these national core values are held tight and you impact them on those behind you.
Represented by the Director, Orientation and Behavior Modification, Musa Chantu, the acting DG said youth should always see themselves first as Nigerians. The federal government says it will sustain its support and partnership with UNESCO by providing relevant information on programs that will facilitate the processing of Nigeria's nominations and submissions of candidature files. Minister of State for Education, Professor Anthony Onwuka, said this at a one-day workshop on UNESCO fellowship programs, prizes and awards for universities, line ministries and agencies in Abuja. Olainka Ojo reports.
The sensitization workshop, which drew participants from ministries, departments and agencies, also had representatives from 31 universities across the country. It is aimed at strengthening staff competence and in the process enable establishments function effectively in the achievement of stated national goals, with particular reference to the 4th Sustainable Development Goals, ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning.
Good to see you too, Lydia, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government has set the wheels in motion for growth and sustainable development through investment opportunities, particularly in the critical sectors of the economy. The Vice President said this when he met top Nigerian investors at the 7th Pan-African Investors Conference in Lagos.
To fast-track the nation's economy, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, said the federal government has prioritized immediate policy objectives expected to stimulate the economy. He said government has laid foundational pillars for the immediate diversification of the economy. Professor Osinbajo mentioned 6 strategic intervention plans of the federal government in the areas of security, governance, transportation, social investment programs, as well as the management of public finance.
We think that Boko Haram has been largely contained. Of course, there are still issues around resettlement and those kinds of things. But we think that threat itself has been largely contained. There are other issues here and there, but we think that investment in security, the way that we're investing in security, will ensure that security is well taken care of.
The Vice President also pointed out that government is committed to improving power. There were reactions to the Vice President.
We appreciate the three policy initiatives, which is peace and stability, anti-corruption, and the economic development.
The outgoing Chinese ambassador to Nigeria said President Muhammadu Buhari has demonstrated high level of statesmanship, hence his victory at the 2015 polls, a testimony that Nigerians truly voted for change. He said Nigeria, as the biggest economy in Africa, while China ranks same globally, both nations, he maintained, have a great role to play on the global arena. The ambassador, who expressed gratitude for the among others, it is against this background that Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says opportunities abound.
Television had arrived. It brought along with it a fundamental change in the way people access information, knowledge, or entertainment. While significant initial funding went into impressive production facilities, investment in network coverage will remain largely inadequate, with national coverage levels remaining at around 45% or less during the 30 years that followed. Critical talent, mass, to produce the needed quality content to respond to needs for citizens in their diversity.
On the 2017 switchover deadline, the minister stated the federal government's determination to meet the deadline.
And there's no better evidence of our commitment to meeting the deadline than the fact that we successfully rolled out the pilot phase of the digital switchover in the north central city of Jos on April 30, 2016.
Acting Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Alheri Seidu, and the Secretary General, Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization, Shola Taylor, equally made bare the gains associated with the digitization drive.
This small but significant step for Nigeria is a giant leap for Africa, providing critical lessons and insights into forwarding models, implementation strategies, and value chain models.
Promote an enabling environment and establish a local content development fund in each country.
As broadcasters, the new landscape provides enormous opportunities for investment. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And that report ends the news from here. Lydia is standing by with more reports in Abuja. Lydia, over to you.
Thanks, Abdullahi. You are watching Nationwide. More reports after these messages. Don't go away.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and...
We are here to serve, and indeed, Nigerians will get the service they have longed for and which they rightly deserve.
The leader today that we have in Nigeria is one the world has been waiting for. Nigeria is seen in a new and a different, very positive light.
With what Peru? African cinema.
No, 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 no.
Come on now, mommy, you're my Cinderella. Oh, lo, 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 lo. Come on now, mommy, you're my Wonder Woman. See, I go walk hard, oh, to pamper you, oh. Mama, it will be so nice, so if I buy you moto, Mama, and I promise you forever, and I'll be loving you.
Andy!
Crystal!
Andy, you're the man!
What do you think? Good?
Yeah, it's great. I like it.
Imagine all this with a big afro on my hair, and you know.
That would be so great. So, will you be doing the performance in your barber shop?
I am not performing in my barber shop. Oh,
Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Repositioning the All Progressives Congress Cross River State chapter for electoral victory in 2019 was the focus of the APC's quarterly retreat held in Calabar, Cross River State. Maureen Leo Ajom reports that the retreat had the theme All Progressives Congress Cross River State, the way forward, reconciliation, and strategies of winning elections.
The All Progressives Congress stalwarts and party faithful converge on Calabar to interface and crossbreed ideas on how to midwife opposition to power. Chairman of the party in the South-South Zone, Prince Hilliard Etta, thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for appointing prominent sons and daughters of the state into exalted position, among which include Minister for Niger Delta, Head of Service of the Federation, and the latest, Bin Okoye Obono Obla, as the Special Assistant to the President on Prosecution. Prince Etta
and what they expect, like you know, of APC is a change.
The retreat featured paper presentation by a seasoned resource person, Professor Yakubu Ochefu, a professor of economic history. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Still on political parties. It appears the leadership crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party is far from over, as the party's Elders Forum reaffirms its position rejecting the zoning arrangement for national offices as agreed by its National Working Committee. At its third meeting held in Abuja, the elders called for the postponement of the scheduled party convention this month. Here's Abdullahi Garba Binin Kudu with details.
The PDP Elders Forum consists of prominent political figures who laid the foundation of the party in 1998 and those who held elective political appointments in the last 16 years of its administration. At the end of about 3 hours meeting, the elders faulted the process of recent congresses of the party at various levels. They restated their position that the proposed convention be postponed while the tenure of the current national executives ends by 21st of this month.
So in the event that there is a vacation of office because of expiration of tenure, then the Board of Trustees should give effective and credible leadership to the party in the transition. We think that zoning, if it's to be done, should be fair, should be just.
Various speakers stressed the need for the party to regain its lost glory.
We have been seen as people who have learned from their mistakes and they have purged themselves and they are now born again.
We have a system, we have a tradition, we have a constitution. And we're not asking, we're not denying anybody to be the head of this party.
We have a burden. We must discharge that responsibility. We have to stand up, look at people straight in the face and say, hey, where were you before June 1998?
The meeting of the Elders Forum is coming barely a week when the National Executive Committee and the National Board of Trustees of the PDP are set to hold a meeting so that to decide on the next line of action regarding the National Convention of the party. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Thanks, Abdullahi. Still talking fuel hike. Let's now join Ogwa in our Port Harcourt Network Center.
Committee members include Samuel Nkpoko, Secretary, Charles Awotu, Deputy Vice Chairman, Samuel Wanosike, PRO, Victoria Allison, Woman Leader, and Odimabo Torowain as Youth Leader. They will serve for the next 4 years, according to the party's constitution. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Liene, NTA News.
And away from that, as the 2016 World Nurses Day is being marked, the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital branch of the National Association of Nurses and Midwives of Nigeria has called for improved facilities and welfare to enable delivery of effective medical services to the people. The theme for this year's celebration is A Force for Change, Improving Health System Resilience. Ikechukwu Ndukwe has details.
Taking a critical look at the current health situation in Nigeria, the chairperson of the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital branch of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses remarked that nurses have greater responsibility to make the health system work in Nigeria. She listed some challenges facing the nursing profession, such as lack of modern equipment, training and retraining of staff, and lack of adequate motivation.
To rechannel our capacity to build on how to improve our nursing standards, the care that we give to patients.
We're supposed to be working with a lot of computers to help us to minimize some areas that you have to do some things one-on-one.
Most times on night duty specifically, no light, mosquito-infested environment, you have just
and logistics to data processing as well as advocacy and publicity availed participants the opportunity to brainstorm on ways of conducting accurate census exercise in Nigeria. Chairman, National Population Commission, Ezeduru Hioma, says the commission places prominence on training as a veritable tool for efficiency and effectiveness.
We must explore strategies on how to adapt some of the methodologies to our local environment with a view to making the census in Nigeria hitch-free.
Abubakar noted that the joint operation has recorded some success.
The task force had been an instrument of blocking all the possible, all the possible supply routes of the Boko Haram.
The acting director, Defense Information, echoed that the war against Boko Haram is almost over as troops are now in Sambisa forest.
Historic bypass heart operation in Tanzania performed at the country's main referral hospital. Also, another set of 10 Ethiopia children held captive by a South Sudanese armed group since April 15th have been set free. So far, 29 of the 125 kidnapped children have been rescued. And Brazil president to face trial over claims of manipulating finances after the Senate voted to impeach and suspend her. The crime she strongly denies and sees the impeachment proceeding as a coup. That is along Robert Tidbits, Talati Zerike, NTA News.
Now sports. NTA pledges support towards the successful launch of Nigeria's sports book records in Abuja as Chika Chukwumerije Sports Foundation intensifies grassroots development of Taekwondo. Details of this and more on Sports Update with Ayodeji Makinde.
Acting Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Philip Ofuegbu, has stated the organization's commitment to promote values capable of improving the quest for knowledge by Nigerians. The acting DG, represented by Director News Aliyu Bababaro, made this known while receiving the Ministerial Committee on the launch of Nigeria's Sports Book of Records, chaired by Olusegun Akinlotan at NTA's corporate headquarters in Abuja.
And this documentation is history. And what NTA has been doing with our programming and news, and even in enterprises, we showcase the good things of Nigeria outside of the country.
This is a very big project that can launder the image of this country very well.
In a related development, NTA says it will render the necessary media assistance to ensure the success of the 2016 Olympic Day celebration in Abuja. Director News Baba Barrow, who stood in for the acting DG, disclosed this while granting a separate audience to the Nigeria Sports for All Commission.